This is a test. Ooh.
It is 7 o'clock time for our regularly scheduled meeting. Mike, would you call the...
Collier Wise. Here. Helwig. Here. Holland. Here. Humphrey. Price. Here. Sorensen.
Here.
Ward. Here. Wilson. Here. Mayor Powell. Here. Student Representative Hannah Michael.
Here. Sorry. You missed the summer. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Third item are minutes, August 6th special meeting, August 6th regular meeting, and then August 15 and 16 budget sessions. Motion is second to approve all the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda, John, Mike, any changes that you're aware of on the agenda?
Second.
Motion is second to approve agenda as printed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under visitors to be heard, addressing the council. Persons addressing the council shall use the microphone at the podium. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Go to the podium and state your name and address. For items that are not on the agenda, members of the public may speak under visitors to be heard on any topic not on the agenda. Remarks are limited to 5 minutes and no decision will be made at this time. For agenda items, public testimony will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item. Public testimony will then be closed and the topic will be given to the governing body for possible action. At this point, only city council members and staff may discuss the current agenda item unless a council member moves to allow another person to speak and there is unanimous consent from the council. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the presiding officer at any time. At this time, we have a proclamation recognizing the first Habitat for Humanity home in Clay County. Kelsey, if you read that, please.
Proclamation, the first Habitat for Humanity home in Clay County, South Dakota. Whereas Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit Christian housing ministry founded in 1976 that seeks to eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness from the world by providing adequate and affordable shelter for low-income families. And whereas Habitat for Humanity has had a chapter in Yankton County, South Dakota since 1996 and has built 42 affordable homes, and in 2015 expanded services to Clay County, South Dakota due to lack of affordable housing. And whereas Habitat for Humanity of Clay and Yankton counties works with partner families and volunteers to build simple, decent, and affordable homes in the communities of Clay and Yankton counties to help solve the need for more affordable housing in those communities. And whereas every citizen in Clay County, South Dakota deserves the opportunity to experience the dream of home ownership, which promotes personal well-being, strengthens families, and builds communities. Now, therefore, we, the governing body of the City of Vermillion, do hereby proclaim the home to be constructed at the site of 310 Washington Street as the first Habitat for Humanity home in Clay County, South Dakota, within the City of Vermillion, South Dakota, and call upon the residents of this great city to acknowledge the family moving into the home at 310 Washington Street and the accomplishments and contributions of Habitat for Humanity by supporting initiatives and activities that promote and provide adequate and affordable housing to low-income families. Dated at Vermillion, South Dakota, this 20th day of August, 2018.
Is there anyone here from Habitat? Would you receive the proclamation, please?
So I'm actually the president of USD Habitat for Humanity. Unfortunately, the Yankton representatives couldn't be here, so they asked me to come and accept this, and we are very excited to begin construction on this home, and we thank you for the City of Vermillion's help in this.
Thank you very much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Before we see if there's any audience participation, could we have our new student rep tell us who she is and what can you do?
My name is Krista Hanamichael. I'm a junior at the University of South Dakota. I am studying criminal justice and political science, as well with a minor in Spanish, with the hopes of going on to law school. This is my first year in Student Government Association, and I will be the City Council representative.
Is there anyone in the audience that has anything to talk about that is not on the agenda? Any topic that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, is there anyone on the council that has anything that they'd like to bring up that's not on the agenda? Okay, then we'll move on. Public hearings. Item A, a special permit to exceed permissible sound levels by no more than 50% for USD Dakota Days on Rodigan plots and a portion of Market Street south of West Main Street and a portion of West Main Street of Rodigan plots on or about October 3rd, 2018 from 4 p.m. for celebration of Dakota Days event, carnival and street dance. And Mike? Is that better, Don? Thank you. Maybe it was yours. Oh, now, Mike?
Okay, Douglas Wagner, on behalf of the Dakota Days Committee, has applied for the special permit to exceed allowable noise level for their celebration Dakota Days event on October 3rd to be held in Rodigan plots and portions of West Main and Market Street. A copy of the application and diagram along with the notice are attached in the packet. Later on the agenda, there's a request to close portions of Market and Main Street for the event. The City Council needs to determine at the public hearing if this event's in a suitable location with appropriate facilities during an allowable time. The fee of $25 has been paid. Administration will recommend issuance of the special permit unless information is presented at the public hearing that indicates there would be a problem related to the noise.
Is there anyone here from the group that wants to speak on this topic?
Hello. I don't have a lot to contribute than what's different than what it states in the permit. So, yeah, but I'm here to answer questions if you have any.
Okay. Any questions? No? Looks like an easy pass.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Council? Motion a second to approve the permit. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, special daily malt beverage and wine license for the Vermillion Area Chamber of Commerce and Development Company on or about September 28 and 29, 2018 at Rodigan Plots and portions of Market and West Main Street for Oktoberfest events. And Mike, again, please.
The Vermillion Chamber and Development Company has applied for a special daily malt beverage and wine license for their Oktoberfest events on Friday, September 28th and 29th, 2018, to be held on the Rodigan Plots and portions of West Main and Market Street. The notice of hearing, the memo from the police chief are attached in the packet. City staff is not aware of any problems with previously issued special daily licenses granted to the Chamber and Development Company. As this event is being held on city streets and city property, ordinance allows the city to include such conditions and restrictions as the governing body may deem appropriate and consistent with state law. The request to exceed allowable noise levels and the street closing are later on the agenda. The VCDC has provided their certificate of insurance, naming the city as an additional insured, and provided the release and indemnification with the street closing. The fees have been paid. Administration recommend approval of the special daily malt beverage and wine license for the Chamber for the Oktoberfest events on September 28th and 29th, unless information is presented at the hearing otherwise. The motion should also address the request to use the Radigan plots.
Mike, could you also speak, the police chief's comment is that they're going to put a fence around the area. Is that something new, or is that an added?
I think that was in there even last year, but yeah, they had indicated that they planned to fence the area and
Okay.
use wristbands.
Okay. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on this topic? Council? Are those with the conditions Mike added? Sure. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, a special permit to exceed permissible sound levels for the Vermillion Area Chamber of Commerce and Development Company on or about September 28, 29, 2018 at Rodigan Plots and portions of Market and West Main Street from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. for Oktoberfest events. And Mike, again, please.
Okay, as we're working with the Oktoberfest event, this is a permit to exceed allowable sound levels by no more than 50% for September 28th and 29th. The street closing request will be later on the agenda. The VCDC is sponsoring the events and encouraging the community to come downtown for them. The notice of public hearing is included in the packet, along with their diagram. The City Council need to determine at the public hearing if this event is in a suitable location, appropriate facilities during an allowable time. City staff is not aware of any noise-related problems with the event last year. The fee has been paid. Administration recommend approval of issuance of a special permit to exceed allowable sound levels by no more than 50% for the Chamber Development Company for the Oktoberfest events on September 28th and 29th, unless information is presented at the hearing to indicate otherwise.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this? Council? Motion and a second to approve the special permit. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no old business, so we'll move to new business. And item A is a request to close West Main Street between Prospect Street and the alley west of Core Trust Bank, and close Market Street from West Main Street to Kidder Street on Wednesday, October 3rd from 4 p.m. to midnight for Vermtown Bash. And John, please.
Thank you. As you stated, Mayor, this request is part of the last two agenda items related to the Dakota Days event that Doug Wagner is here to help us with or answer any questions on. As you noted, the street closing begins at 4 p.m. and lasts until midnight. There's two different events, if I may call them that can take place. The carnival runs from approximately 5 to 7:30, so they need time before that to set that up. And then there's a DJ there from 8 to 11, so they need time in between to tear down the carnival, and then also the DJ after the end of it. The app does indicate that they will provide porta potties, they'll clean up the area, and they will be speaking with local businesses to notify them of the closure. And again, that closure is West Main Street from Prospect to the alley on the west side of Core Trust Bank, and then Market Street from West Main south to Kidder Street.
Anybody in the audience comment on this one? As well, since you came.
Right? Yeah. Again, I think I got to covered everything in the application, but if you have any questions about anything specific, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay. Council?
Move approval.
A motion and a second to approve the request. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, a request to close West Main Street from Prospect Street and the alley west of, Core Trust Bank, and close Market Street from West Main Street to Kidder Street on Friday, September 28th and Saturday, September 29th, from 3:30 to midnight for Oktoberfest. Again, John, please.
Thank you. This is, just had a couple agenda items related to this. The application that was submitted by the VCDC does indicate that they will clean up the area each day, and they will notify in person, also email the neighboring businesses of the closing. Again, the closing is Friday, September 28th and Saturday the 29th, from 3:30 p.m. to midnight. And the closing is West Main from Prospect to the alley west of Core Trust and Market Street. They're only going about half a block south as it abuts Radigan Platts to basically the alley.
Thank you, John. Council? Motion and second to request the close. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item C, first reading of ordinance 1384 to amend Chapter 51 Electricity, Section 51.22 Residential Service Rate to add 51.22B2C to provide for a master electric meter serving exclusive student housing facilities providing dormitory-style apartment units. And John, again, please.
Thank you. This is an item that we've had presented the committee reports to the Utilities Committee to the City Council a couple different occasions over the last couple months. Just to kind of back up, as was noted, the Heights is constructing. It's underway, a 74-unit building to house 200-plus university students. And they expressed a desire to have a master electric meter as they would be paying for all of the electric utility that the student residents might utilize. Our city code and PURPA require individual meters, as does our local state PUC here in South Dakota. But the South Dakota PUC does well, they do. First of all, they don't regulate city rates or policies, but they do have an exception, or they've granted some exceptions as they, with respect to dormitories in the state of South Dakota. And the developer at some of our meetings has expressed how they are constructing a facility that would be like a dormitory. So the Utilities Committee has reviewed, and they recommended to bring this forward for the City Council consideration. As you noted, Mayor, the proposed language does provide for a master electric meter, and that would be for exclusive student housing projects meeting these conditions. 70-plus dormitory-style apartment units. It would need to house 200 or more post-secondary enrolled students. The master meter would only be for the residential uses, rooms. It would not be for commercial spaces, the parking lot, laundry rooms, hallways, lounges, anything like that. This is all stated in the ordinance that's before you. Resale of electricity is prohibited. There would be an annual sample lease or leases that would be provided, as well as the rules and regulations. If they did not meet the conditions, immediately they would need to alter and comply with the multiple dwelling requirement that's also in that particular section of City Code. At this point in time, you're just doing the first reading of the ordinance. If it does advance to second reading, then we would have a rate resolution on there to consider at that point in time. Anytime we do something like this, the rates follow the second reading.
Thank you, John. Anybody in the audience wish to speak on this topic at this time? Seeing none, turn to the council. Tom?
John, I have a question, or Jim or Mike or whomever. So this is only for post-secondary students in this residential building, and if it's found that there are non-students living there, that would violate this, and then what would happen?
Well, the last sentence of the proposed section, or subsection C, that if they did not comply with all the rules, regulations will require immediate building alteration in compliance with section 5122B2B at property owner's expense. And for B2B is right above it, which is the multiple dwelling, so that would fall to other similar multiple dwelling units that we have around the community, which is an individual meter for each unit.
Okay. And I assume somebody monitors this or something.
Well, we would ask to see a sample lease, not the lease that says, you know, Fred Hooper, Billy Smith, you know, lives in a room. That's certainly proprietary privacy information, but that they have a setup that is for university students. So the regulations that may require being enrolled in post-secondary education, keeping in mind that it may be that they could be predominantly a student at Mount Marty, but living here and also taking classes at USD. So they would need to successfully or adequately demonstrate that they are post-secondary students. Not necessarily of USD, but in some institution.
Thank you.
Further discussion, further questions? A motion and a second to approve proposed ordinance 1384. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item D, Human Relations Commission appointments. Just a little background. The City Council created a Human Relations Commission with the adoption of Ordinance 1377, and the ordinance became effective July 19th of 2018. Over the last month, the openings have been advertised at City Council meetings, the city's website, on Facebook, and on Twitter. The ordinance provides for a 7-member commission made up of city residents. 6 of the members are to be residents of the city for at least 6 months. If available, the 7th member of the commission is to be a student enrolled in post-secondary education. All members of the commission serve for 3 years with the exception of the student member, and that would be a 1-year term. The ordinance provides that the initial terms are staggered, with 2 members serving a 3-year term, 2 members serving a 2-year term, and 3 members, including the student member, serving a 1-year term. At the conclusion of the first year, then any other apps would be for a 3-year term, with the exception of the 1-year term that's reserved for a student. We had 7 applications, and so I'll list off the 1 year are Addison McCauley, David Sundberg, and Quinn Thornton. 2-year terms, Mark Daniels and Travis Letelier, and 3-year term, Lamont Sellers and Cal Peterson. And so that's my recommendation to the council.
I move approval.
A motion and a second to approve the appointments to the Human Relations Commission. And John, I would ask that you would notify the people and perhaps convene a first meeting, and then they could select their chair and move on with that. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks. Okay, we also then approved a Historic Preservation Commission, and this was created in the adoption of Ordinance 1376, and this also became effective July 19th, 2018. Again, over the last month, the openings have been advertised at City Council meetings, the city's website, Facebook, and Twitter. And the ordinance established the commission provides for a 7-member board that resides within the city. 4 members of the board are to be property owners in the officially designated historic districts. When available, 2 are members who have expertise in the disciplines of history, architectural history, architecture, cultural anthropology, or related fields. Terms of appointment are for 3 years, with the initial appointments having staggered expirations. To assist the City Council in evaluating if 2 potential members met the disciplines sought in the ordinance, individuals completing an expression of interest form were asked to comment on their backgrounds to meet one of the disciplines. We had 7 applications, and so the way they're allocated is first-year terms: Ed Garish, Cynthia Cheney, and, oh gosh, I can't read my own writing, Dietrich Vanderhill. 2-year terms, Susan Gray and William Deniger, and 3-year terms, Gloria Hensley and Jim Wilson. And that's my recommendation to
I move approval.
A motion and a second to approve the appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item F. Yes.
Quickly, could I just say on behalf of, thanks to everyone who's interested in these 2 new commissions, and we look forward to your service. It's nice that people step forward like this. We didn't have to fill in any blanks in or anything like that. So.
Appreciate that. And I would also comment that we'll ask City Manager John to also notify those people and set up an initial meeting, and then they can select their own chair and or however that they want to organize themselves. Okay, thanks, Don. Item F is a plat of a lot 11A in Block 4 of Bliss Point addition to the City of Vermillion in the south half of Section 14, Township 92 North, Range 52 west of the 5th Prime Meridian, Clay County, South Dakota. And are you Jose tonight? Okay.
Not Jose, but I'll try to fill in for him. This lot would be what would be the northwest intersection of Wilder Road and Rockwell Trail. in the Bliss Point subdivision. The difference was that they added approximately 6 additional feet to this lot, and they also had to dedicate some new right-of-way there. So that's what's leading to go through the process separately than what you looked at with a number of lots just a couple of meetings ago. The Planning Commission did take a look at this at their August 13th meeting, and they recommended approval of the plat. Included in your packet is a copy which identifies Lot 11A.
Just a question, the survey certificate that we have with it has nothing on it as far as being filled out. Is that completed?
Yeah, it would be completed, I believe, after this action is done, that they'll
Okay.
run it through the steps.
Okay, thank you. Comments on this, council? A motion and a second to approve the plat of Lot 11A. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, John. Item G, resolution fixing the time and place for a hearing and notice of hearing on the special assessment roll for nuisance abatement. Mike, please.
Well, as part of the nuisance abatement process, the city incurs costs for grass and weed tagging, snow tagging, hiring contractors to mow or remove snow and remove debris. State statute provides that the city council can special assess these unpaid costs to the property owners. The special assessment process provides the governing body set a public hearing date and then notify the property owners of the hearing by sending notice and publishing the notice. The notice before the city council tonight the resolution is to set a public hearing for September 17th, 2018. Following adoption of this, it will be published and notice will be sent to the property owners of the public hearing. Administration recommend adoption of the resolution to set a public hearing for September 17th, 2018 for the special assessment roll for nuisance abatement.
Thank you, Mike. Council? A motion and a second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item H, sale of surplus fire department air packs. Mike, again, please.
The city council declared 5 air packs surplus on May 21st and were appraised at $8,000 by the Surplus Property Appraisal Committee. They were advertised for sale by sealed bids, which were opened on June 26, 2018, and no bids were received at that time. The City Council at the July 2nd meeting received the no bids, and the fire department said that it would continue to advertise the sale of the air packs for not less than 90% of the appraised value. The City of Clark Fire Department has offered to purchase the 5 air packs for $7,200, which is 90% of the appraised value. Administration recommend accepting the purchase offer from the City of Clark Fire Department to purchase the 5 surplus air packs for $7,200.
Thanks, Mike. Council?
Move approval.
Motion and a second to approve the sale of surplus fire department air packs. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no bid openings this evening, so we'll next turn to our city manager's report. John, please.
Thank you. Just a reminder that city offices will be closed on Monday, September 3rd. That's due to the Labor Day holiday. And with that, the next city council meeting will not be on Monday, September 3rd, but it'll be on Tuesday, September 4th. At that Tuesday, September 4th meeting, you will have the annual agenda item to review the use of the malt beverage market proceeds. That always corresponds with the first reading of the budget for the next fiscal year, as well as the first reading of the ordinance to revise the 2018 budget and adopt a budget for 2019. Prentice Plunge has shifted to the fall hours that began today, and those will go until September 3rd. So the Plunge is now open Monday through Friday from 4 to 7. Water walking will be available 11 to 1 as well as 5 to 6. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, the pool will be open 1 to 5. Water walking is 12 to 1 and 5 to 6. Coming up in a couple weeks on Monday, September 10th, we'll have the Bike Master Plan open house. I might recall, I believe it was last November, there was an open house at the library as we were kind of kicking off that project. And now they'll be doing another public open house, again, Monday, September 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 here in this room. The Planning Commission does meet next Monday night, August 27th at 5:30 in our large conference room. At this point in time, we have two items on the agenda. One is a conditional use permit for a new SAE fraternity house, which would basically be on the south side of Madison Street. And the other one is a conditional use permit to construct a new parking lot for the SAE fraternity. So they basically would flip-flop. They'd build the house where their parking lot is now. They would then tear down that house and build a parking lot. And then, first of all, thank you to the City Council for all the time that you spent on the budget last week, probably about 9-10 hours worth of meetings to go through that. And just to keep that going, there was some information provided at your seat this evening. That's in regard to the amount of the outside agency funding. That, as in comparison to some past years, this was following the guiding information that the Policies and Procedures Committee developed last year. So it kind of gives you an idea of how the proposed donations or contributions the upcoming budget year compare to those guiding recommendations that the Policies and Procedures Committee put together.
Thank you, John. Any comments or questions for our city manager? Seeing none, I'll turn to trip Mike up on invoices payable. If you find anything, you can stump Mike. If not... Oh, thank you. I want to make a point, and everybody but Julia would know this. This is a pass-through. It's not a city expense. Missouri River pays all my expenses to go to the meetings, but they can't pay me, so they pass it through the city. So the other people knew that. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
This is the same explanation we get every year, Jack.
But
That's fine.
but she wasn't here before.
I'm saying it's suspect, that's all.
Okay, was there a second to, okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, Steve. Oh, okay. Motion is second to pay the remaining bills. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Yeah. There is no consensus agenda, Steve. There isn't. Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Crystal, we won't always be out by 7:30.